Good afternoon, family. You're tuned in to the Ron G Live Show right here on WSAN Radio, where the community comes first and the conversation stays real. We've got a great lineup today, so turn us up and let's get this midday energy started. Stay locked in.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are here at Mr. Osaze home, and we want to do this interview live on the radio, but so much stuff is going on. And he asked, can you come set up somewhere and can record? I said, we absolutely can. We could do that. So I'm here right now speaking with this young man, and I first met him at the Pan-African Festival that took place at Harvard Library with my bookstore and everybody there. And he came up to me and we just started talking.
Yeah.
Just like we knew each other. We just started talking. I said, okay, we'll get together and everything. Then he called me back. Then the wheels started turning.
Yes, sir. Here we
Everything
are.
started going on. Well, I got this play that I'm doing, and I really need to get it out there and start promoting and all that stuff. And I think my exact words, he said, when should I promote? I said, now's a good time.
Yes, he did.
I said,
Yes,
now's a good time. And then he told me a little bit about the play. And I got intrigued about it. And it takes a different turn than what you think it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And when you broke it down to me, I said, yeah, that took a whole new, deep, different turn. Because you thought it was going to be about getting after somebody. But the person they're getting after is that person.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
So tell us a little bit more about the play.
Sure. The play is entitled Broken Glass because, as you can see in the back of us, it has a caption underneath it that says, some things cut deep. And so what we're talking about is every one of us as human beings, we've had childhoods. And all of our childhoods haven't been great. We've all had to experience some type of abuse, if you will, whether it's verbal abuse. Some of it has been sexual with some of our little girls and little boys. Some of it has been neglect, and some of it has been physical abuse. And so I wanted to do a play that basically sheds light on the abuse and then what we need to do about that abuse, because a lot of us are still carrying those scars, those shards from our past. And we need to know what to do with those issues that affect us when we become adults.
Yeah, because it goes deep. And it goes into relationships. You can't really get into a relationship still thinking about what happened to you in the past, that you were never healed.
Right, right.
And when that happens, you find out, now I'm gonna talk about ladies, young ladies can't have a meaningful relationship because in back of their mind, is this gonna happen to me?
Right.
And they sort of will not let their guard down all the way because of that. They have a trust issue and all that. When they go through all that, then how can we mend it? Wow. How can we fix it?
Yeah. Well, we can fix it by addressing the actual things that you just said when they go through that, which is the trauma, which is the psychological abuse that constantly bombards us, because a lot of this doesn't leave us. Sometimes it happens as a child or in our lives, and then it stays with us and we don't address it. So as we become older, it haunts us. And then it makes us become people that we don't really want to be because we haven't dealt with the issues. So when you say, how do we fix that? We go into our inner selves and say, hey, there has to be some principles that I can use to make sure that I'm being the best person that I can be and not allow my past to affect me to where I can't be into meaningful relationships and things of that sort. And so by you even wanting to talk about it, which I appreciate, because a lot of people don't want to talk about this, especially men,
Yes.
We're so secretive and we don't want to deal with the issues that we're facing, which we're talking about abuse. But I'm so glad that you as a man is willing to say, let's have that discussion. And by having this discussion, there's a lot of positive things that can come out of it, because a lot of people don't like to talk about abuse because they don't like to relive the moments. But when you talk about it, you create a safe space. In other words, creating a safe space is a place where we can openly, like we're doing now, we can talk about it. And then some people who have been affected by abuse in any way, they can look at this and say, I didn't know it was okay to talk about. So that's one of the things that we can do to get this out, is we should talk about it to create safe spaces. I know I talked with you earlier and you said that, yeah, in some of the upbringings, people say what happens at home stays at home. And we can't have that idea, especially when what happens at home affects us when we become adults. So we must address that, though.
I think a lot of people look at that certain person that abuse happened to as still that little kid.
Mm.
They don't look how that person grew up
Mhm.
with that trauma inside them, so they don't understand
Mhm.
and they don't know how to relate to it.
Okay.
They say, "Oh, just suck it up and go on your merry way."
Mhm.
You know, that's the old way of doing it. But
Mhm.
now it affects so much of your upbringing, relationships.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to have a relationship because it was taken away from you.
Right.
Before you even started one, that part of your life was taken away.
Mm.
And so when you look at young men and young ladies with things that happen to them, and then here's the most important thing,
Okay.
the trust.
Mm.
If they lose that trust into anybody, you just
True.
said what happens at home, stay at home,
Mhm.
but it also stays with that person the rest of life because
Mm.
that problem has never been addressed.
That's true. And I'm so glad that you're saying these points, because we have to be able to do one thing. And when it comes to trust, in order to trust someone, you have to break the silence. If I have something going on in my life and I'm not willing to discuss it or disclose it with you, then I'm really hurting myself because it's still in me.
Mhm.
But I have to break the silence and I have to be willing to share with you so that I trust you enough that I'm able to talk with you about my situation.
Yeah.
And this is what really helps you, because broken glass, it delves into a lot of aspects. I know you probably asked me, but as far as characters and what is it really about when you talk about the people that's in the play, their lives and that type of thing, because it really gets deep, because it's not just about abuse, so to speak. It's about other aspects of life, like alcoholism.
Mhm.
People that are struggling with alcoholism. That's a part of a broken glass, if you will, metaphorically speaking. We also deal with healing from trauma. That's what we're discussing now, because a lot of us are not healed. We also have to talk about guilt. That guilt, when we don't deal with the guilt and it rides us for many years, it makes us become monsters in a sense. So, and
Mm.
it's not just about abuse, but the guilt, the loneliness. We have a situation where a young lady is in a mental institution and she's lonely. No one comes to see her. But
Mhm.
yet we all talk about how we should be doing things as far as our faith and our religion. It teaches us to go out and visit those people. But this place shows that a lot of us, we have a character who's like that. She talks a lot, but she never goes out to do the things that she should do, but she calls
Mm.
herself a religious person. So it's so many layers, Mr. Gordon. I'm so glad that you said, let's do this, because this needs to be said.
Yes. And one other thing to be said about that, when you turn around and you tell somebody what's going on, that person will blabbermouth
Mm,
and go out and tell your business.
mm,
And that's why some people are skeptical to talk to
yeah.
anybody because they don't know who they're going to talk to. There's no being, in other words, just keep your mouth shut. If I'm talking to you about something,
Mm-hmm.
who am I to go out and spread what you told me?
Yeah, yeah.
If you want somebody else to know, that's up to you to say it,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
not up to everybody else to say. And then people look at you, I'm gonna say it crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They heard something about you without really hearing the whole truth about
Right,
it.
right.
They take it out of context
Mm-hmm.
and they do that, and all of a sudden they like you one day, then hear about something you did and say, "Oh, I can't stand that person right there." You know what they did, but they
Yeah.
were fine 24 hours ago.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because something happens,
Wow.
you should be there for support no matter what.
Exactly.
If you're their true friend,
Exactly.
you will be there for support no matter what they did.
Wow.
Because everybody's got a past.
Mm-hmm.
And to judge people on the past,
Uh-huh.
and the same person that judged somebody on the past,
Mm-hmm.
you got a past too that you
Yes,
don't
sir.
want to get out.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So no, it's like a double-edged sword.
You must have been reading my script, man. Because in the play, we have a situation where we deal with true friendship. And the very thing you just said, and he hasn't read the script, but because we're on the same page as far as the connection here dealing with the subject, we have two people in this play that are true friends. They work together, and one of them has a problem. And she shares it with the other gentleman, but a true friend, he's there for her. He didn't go out and tell her business, but he was there. And that's what we need nowadays. We need true friends, people that's not going to go blabber and go and tell our business, because it's personal, first of all. And if they wanted people to know what's going on, they would tell people this. And this is why I think it's important to have these types of discussions and symposiums and just things that's going to involve the community, because this Saturday, which is the 23rd of July, we're going to be at the Carver Library, 3350 East Commerce, and we're going to do a symposium. And the symposium is going to deal with these issues and many, many more. But the point I'm trying to make in this, to say that, is this. We're going to have the San Antonio rape crisis there. We're going to have family prevention service. They're going to be there. And they're going to be there for people like you that's telling us, say, people that you're talking about that says, I don't want everybody to know my business. I want some confidentiality so they can go back to that table, and because everybody's not open like some of us are. And to those who say, well, I would like to go to something like that, but I just don't want to disclose this information. We have people, we have to have networking so that people can be healed.
Right.
Mr. Gordon. And that's the big thing.
I agree, because the first step of healing is admitting. Because you got to admit to yourself that there's something's going wrong with you. Then the other part is trust somebody you could talk to that can help you out. Sometimes back in the days, we used to have things we call rap sessions, where everybody would sit around and talk about what's going on in today's society, what's going on maybe with your life, you want to bring it up. And we sit back and we just talk. And you talk about some of the stuff that come out some of these kids' mouth is frightening. And you look at them and now you know why the way they're acting. Because they open up and they're coming out to you. Now, some kids don't come back after that. Some come back. The ones that come back, they need help. And we make sure they get that help. So that's what we had back then was rap sessions, because the rap sessions, you just lay it all out. You just lay it all out what's going on. And it doesn't hurt for the person who's organizing a rap session to tell them their story. Because you think you're the only one? Well, let me tell you what I went through. Then they get to understand, oh, well, he went through the same thing, and look at him.
True. That's so good. Let me tell you a staggering statistic. A staggering statistic that I didn't even know is this. Every 9 seconds in the United States, now this is according to the CDC, Centers for Disease Control. Every 9 seconds, it is reported that a child is molested, a child is abused in the United States. So by the time we're done doing the interview, depending on how long it is, you're going to have 6 to maybe 10 boys and girls, either or, that have been molested. And a lot of them don't get reported. This is a serious problem, Mr. Gordon. I hate to be redundant, but I'm so glad that we're taking this time to address this. And not only that, a lot of the people that are abused, when they become adults, they turn to drugs and different other vices because, as you mentioned earlier, no one's there to say, hey, I got you. I got you. You've fallen and you need help. So we kind of push them out. And so they turn to it. And then only 12% of the cases, abuse, is reported. So where's the other 82? I mean, where's the other 88? So that means that we're not talking about this, but yet it's happening. And, you know, I'll share something with you that really, and I know this is a part of what you're going to ask me as well, but I'll just say this now. That's one of the reasons for broken glass, because I have a family member who told me, I'm talking about a blood relative that's close to me. When she told me her story, my glasses fogged up, my eyes got red, because I was with her all the time. We grew up together. And when she shared her story with me, I'm thinking, I don't understand this. Right under my nose, people that you know, you see, your family, your friends, these are the people that are the perpetrators in many instances. It's not a guy breaks in or a woman breaks in and you don't know them. These are people that we trust. So when she told me that and told me the name of the person, the hair on my neck, it stood up. And so we've got to have more dialogue like this when we talk about broken glass.
Ooh, you're right, because things happen at the house that you don't see. Matter of fact, I did one thing with my son. We were driving down the road one day, driving this subdivision. I said, look at the house to the left of you. Look at the house to the right of you. Don't that look beautiful? He said, yeah, but you don't know what's going on inside. You don't know. Some of the houses, if they could cry, they'll be crying right now on what's going on the inside. So I broke it down to him like, we have pedophiles in our family.
Yes, sir.
We have pedophiles that are neighbors. We have pedophiles out there that's all over the place, but yet you trust them to come in your house and watch your kids because you don't know what's going on.
Right.
And so when you look at your neighbor's house, you look at kids, actually there's really no, I asked somebody, is there a red flag or a tell sign that we look for? You notice one guy told me, he said he was a psychiatrist. He said, absolutely not.
He's right.
There's no red flag that comes up because we got this trust thing in us. We're going to trust first, because in our minds, And even in my mind, if somebody take care of kids, I trust that person doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when the wrong thing come out to me
Mm-hmm.
that they did, oh, my blood boils.
Yeah, and it should. It really should. And I'm not going to sit here all day and throw statistics, but I want to put this one in before we're done, and that's this. 1 out of every 4 girls and 1 out of every 5 boys are molested before the age of 18.
Mm.
And these stats are stats that are astronomical in that we're suffering as a people. We're being abused. We're being neglected. We're being done wrong in many ways. But this way here is a violent way. Although it may not be physically violent, it's violent because it destroys the mind of these children as they become older. Then they turn out to do some of the very things that were done to them. And we don't get it because we say, look at this wild person. Why are they acting like this? Now, we're not giving them a pass, but we're saying, now we understand because that's all they know.
Exactly.
So we got to be able to bring this out on the forefront.
That is a good point right there, because if it's done to them
Mm-hmm.
and nobody did nothing to help them,
Mm-hmm.
they figure they could do it to somebody else, and it's passed on. And that's one thing we don't want to be passed on.
Right.
But it is.
Yeah.
It's being passed on. So switch a little curve to you right now.
Okay.
So I want to talk about broken glass.
Okay.
Looking at it and seeing all the things that you sent to me, I watch all that and everything.
Okay.
I was so intrigued about it, and just looking at it. It's new.
Okay.
The reason why I'm saying it's new, because nobody's got the guts to get out and do something about this and say something about it. That's why I say it's new to me.
Okay.
Now you could turn around and watch the news. It's all blood and guts and everything. But then they find on Sundays, only on Sundays, they find a good humor story to tell about. When it's good humor stories all the way around. I'm not saying yours is a good humor story, but what it's doing is bringing to the forefront that people are scared to talk about this.
Okay.
And with you bringing out talking about it, that's when everybody know we got a problem.
Yeah, we have a serious problem. And once again, broken glass is for all of us. It's not just for a group of people. And this is more than a play. This is real life. And I teach and tell my cast every time we rehearse, bring your heart to it, because there are people who have been affected by this broken glass ideology so much, even as we speak. And one of the things that really got me was we had rehearsal one day and we put the scripts down because everything wasn't just business. We put the scripts down and we started investigating, talking to each other. And before rehearsal was over with, it turned into a therapeutic session and every one of us was crying. You know why? Because we went around the room and we were open and honest with each other. And we started talking about our past as kids and what we had to endure. And when you hear some of these are people that's in the play. The very thing we're talking about happened to them. And so a lot of the sisters and brothers, we just crying and we're just talking about healing. And so it's very therapeutic when you can deal with real life instead of just having like a movie that a car may blow up, that person is still alive.
Yeah.
But see, in this type of setting, everything we're talking about, it's real. It's real.
Man, I can't wait for the play. That's the only thing I can say. I can't wait for it coming out. So with broken glass, what else do you have in mind? What's beyond the future for you?
Well, actually, I'm looking into doing a movie. I'm not for sure if I want to do it, but I'm thinking about it. And I want to do something about in 1864, around that time. I want to do something about a European. People say, well, Jahi, you're Afrocentric, you're pro-Black. But I want to do something about a man named John Brown, who was a European, who was a person who said, we need to stop slavery. And what he did was he took his whole family, pretty much his sons, and they went out and they did a lot of things to stop and to quell slavery, even when it came to killing other people to try to stop the institution of slavery. And what was so appalling is that he made a plan. When we get to Virginia, we're going to raid the armory and get all the weapons, and we're going to allow all the blacks, the African Americans, we're going to allow the blacks to come in and get the weapons, and we're going to start a revolution where we're going to overthrow slavery. And that was a great idea. Everything went as planned. But at the end of the day, when he got into the armory, nobody showed up.
Ooh.
And they hung him. They killed his sons. And again, I want to kind of show that a lot of us as African Americans, when it's time for liberation, we talk a good game, but we ain't gonna bust a grape.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
and that's true nowadays. Things that's going on.
Yeah.
Meet me over here. Let's go and do this, do that. You stand. You don't even want. You look around. And say, where everybody at?
Yeah.
Man, that's some deep stuff, right? I like that.
Yeah, we got play. In fact, I have. This is the fourth play that I've done. I'm with an organization called the Liberation Center. It's a liberal arts organization, and we also have another arm of it where we have a private school teach Afrocentric, just education. But we've done a play. The first play I did was about 3 years ago. It was called The Untold Truths from Her Womb, kind of coming at it from a female's perspective as far as everything is so masculine. So we tried to show that women are very important, especially African women, African American women. And then after that, we did one called The Great Black Hopes. Now what? We took Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all those pioneers, and we kind of challenged the audience as to, they've done what they've done. Now what are we going to do? Okay.
Right.
And then we had one last year we did was called Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence. And that was a play that was about a gentleman who was convicted of a crime that most people thought he didn't do. He was an African American, and he had the death sentence. They actually gave him the death sentence because he was poor. He couldn't afford a proper attorney, and they actually executed him. And come to find out, he did it, Mr. Gordon. He did it. Sometimes he did it. He did it.
Yeah.
And so we try to throw twists to get people to see that reality is real. And then the next play we're working on, which is going to be in December after this one, which is the fourth one, it's called The Next Revolution. In other words, we're kind of talking about what do we need to do now, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, to get on a level where we're not always complaining only, because we understand complaints are necessary, especially when you've been victimized. But okay, when you get through complaining, what are you going to do? So you can see my organization and myself and all those who are around me, we're very proactive, if you will.
Yeah.
We like to tell the story, but we want to put more to it.
You got your hands full, man. I mean, I'm just looking at. I was talking to somebody is doing a movie that I know, and it's been going on for a few years. And they said, "Ron, we almost there, and we got a spot for you." So I ain't being in the movie. I says, "No, I'm not being in there."
What they want you to do, Mr. Gore? What they want you to do?
A radio talk show host.
Oh man.
He said that falls right along with you, what you said. And here's the script. And you could deviate from that script all you want.
Right.
You know, it doesn't make us a difference. I said, okay, so how many parts are in there? You pretty well in and out through the whole movie.
Okay.
I said, okay. I said, I'll think about it. And this is something that's coming up down the line, but I'd never picture myself doing it because I'm just being myself.
I hear you.
And no, and that goes to a lot of the actors and actresses out there. Even though it's acting, but a lot of it's being yourself as you're acting. You know, you got to put your mind in that role that you're doing. Matter of fact, I was what's the guy's name? I can't think of his name offhand right now. I had this whole cast on my show. And they did a play, and I'm telling you, I went to go see that. And the actors embraced that play.
Wow.
They were crying like they could do it 30 times, and the reaction is different. And I seen that, and I said, see, people think it's easy.
Oh, man.
People think,
it's tougher than we could imagine. And I'm even thinking about when you're talking about the cast that I work with, I have some wonderful, amazing people, man, from 9 years old all the way up to maybe about 55 or 60. And they all bring something to this broken glass play. And, you know, sometimes people like you to name drop, but I have some amazing actors and actresses, and some of them, they've only acted a little while. Others have been in many productions. But, you know, people like Nikita McClure, you know, she's a great actress. You have Erlene Tubbs. She's playing the lead role of a little girl that was named Rin Rin, and now she's an adult. And so she has a mental breakdown because of her abuse, and her mother and father are killed in a car accident. She goes into a mental institution where she meets other people, like a young lady named Barbara Royal, who's she's RT, And so she's got a brain deterioration thing going on, and she wants to go home, but she can't. So they keep lying to her because they're tired of her saying this. So she struggles because she's lonely and nobody comes to see her. So Ren befriends her. And then, we have other people like Jahi Osaze. My son, he's also in this play. Salima Mendoza, they in a relationship and they have a biracial girl. And the biracial girl wants to know, who is she? So the father tells her that she's African American. And the mother saying, why do we have to bring race into everything? So that dynamics is going on too as well. So we just have many people. Elizabeth Wells, she's in the play. I'm just going down memory lane now. We have Jordan Clark. We have little children that's in the play. Chloe Bronax, Kalia Tut, Callie Tut, Sophia Bronax. So it goes on and on. It gets deep. Marie Bunch. So I don't want to. Those are the main people that's in the play. Jason. We got a guy named Jason. His last name is escaping me because he just came today, but he has a part. He wanted to be in the play so bad that I had to create it. Jason Davis. Jason Davis. So yeah, we have a lot of people, man. These people are excited. Like you just mentioned how the other play you saw, people were so into it. They're very excited.
And see, that's when you got everything going. So before we end this, I always ask this question.
Okay.
Of all your cast members there, who is the one that needles everybody, playing with everybody, practical joker?
Well,
besides yourself.
Besides myself. I would say it's Kalia Tut. And today we were in a very intense scene. And I was sitting at the edge of my seat, man, and I'm just, this is great. I can't believe this is a play. I'm like, is this really a play? Is this real? And she comes behind me and she tickles me real fast. And I said, Kalia, quit playing. She ran back. She does that. Then if I say, quiet on the set, you can hear this voice somewhere in the distant future somewhere, and it's her. And you look back at her, and she's okay. And then when you start again, you kind of hear it again. So she keeps us all going.
So when you catch her, does she try to act sweet and innocent?
Yeah. She's one of my students as well. I have the Liberation Academy. So yeah, okay. she knows how far to push that button.
But that's a good thing, because you got to have that one person, one or two people in there that keeps things going, because sometimes you get too serious, and then some people take things too personal, and they think it's a personal attack. I seen that one time in a play in Chicago. They was doing rehearsal, and somebody said something, and it was in the play, but I guess at that given time, that person wanted to hear it.
Okay.
It hit a nerve. They didn't know that was a nerve, and they took it personal. I thought they're gonna fight.
What?
Yeah. And once they, like you said, y'all broke down, once they broke down and talked about it, I think the director at that time said, okay, this is what we're gonna do tomorrow. We're not gonna rehearse. We're gonna sit down, talk about everybody's feelings, what's going on, get everything out here, so we don't say things that put somebody over the edge.
And that's what my wife does, Marie Osaze. She's a beautiful person. She comes to every rehearsal, and even though I'm the director, I guess she's the director, because when things don't go right or when things do go right, she's making a lot of noise, and it's like we have a great chemistry with this cast, and I'm telling you, man, I wouldn't trade them for the world.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Tell everybody about the play, the day that it's on. It's on 2 days, if I'm right, and let them know what days and how to get the tickets and all that good stuff.
Good. Okay, the play is again called Broken Glass. It's going to be August the 30th and the 31st at 5:00 p.m. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. It's going to be at the Woodlawn Pointe Community Center. That's located at 702 Donaldson Avenue here in San Antonio, Texas. You can get tickets on Eventbrite. If you're friends of anyone from the cast, I'm sure they've uploaded images where you can just get the QR code. And me, with my forgetful self, I have a big QR code that I was supposed to bring to sit down. So if anybody wanted to view this, they can hit the QR code. It'll take you right to the link and all that. But again, you can get your tickets on Eventbrite, or you can call any one of us and we'll make sure that you get tickets. And we made sure that they were affordable, because right now the economy is really struggling. And we want to make sure that people got a chance to come out to see this, because this is something we're seeing. And we didn't want people to say, I would have come, but the tickets were a little bit too steep. So we made them very affordable, and that's something we thought and took in mind when we were getting ready for this play.
Okay. All right, sir. We appreciate you taking the time out
Thank you,
and invite me to your lovely home. I appreciate.
Thank you for tuning in to WSAN Radio. Catch us on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button.